What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fluorescent Fungus channel. Today we're playing some Timeless. Today's deck is something I've been working on for the last week or so, getting into Mythic. This is the deck I used to get into Mythic. If you don't know, every time the season changes over, you're put back down 2 badge ranks. So, after the season ends, if you're a Mythic, then you go back to Plat 1, and you have to work your way all the way back up to Mythic. And sometimes that can go quick, but because of the main channel and all the work I do over there, sometimes it takes a little longer. So now it's the 11th of the month, and I even embarrassingly only reached Mythic since 2 days ago. So we're a little late to the punch, but that's okay because we're here now. By the way, main channel, I know some of you at this point on this channel maybe found me organically through YouTube, but I do have a main channel. So if you want to see some paper gameplay or some MTGO, specifically the modern format, go check out Neon Mushroom. There's a link in the description for you if YouTube lets me do that yet. This is a newer channel, so they're kind of weird about you putting links. Anyway, let's look at today's deck. We are playing, this is Jeskai Energy in Timeless, and this deck is, I'm very excited about this. This is very close to what I'm playing currently in Modern as my main deck. And I will kind of go over everything for you because this deck, Timeless is kind of the Wild West. There aren't a ton of huge tournaments. The format's kind of all over the place. The entire ladder is Boros Energy right now, which is like, if you like that, you like that. We like that because our matchup into Boros Energy is very good. All right, removal first. We're playing 4 Swords to Plowshares because it's Swords to Plowshares, 4 Galvanic Discharge, and this is important. Why don't I actually separate these? Here, we'll put these here, and then I'll put Tune the Narrative and Wrath of the Skies here, because you can see the energy package. We've got Galvanic Discharge, which is like a Harness Lightning, but it costs 1 mana and can hit Planeswalkers. Tune the Narrative, which is a cantrip that makes 2 energy, and then the payoff of the deck, and it's an insane payoff, it's Wrath of the Skies for 2 white and X. You can pay X to get that much energy. And then you can pay X energy to destroy each artifact, creature, and enchantment, where X is the energy used to pay this cost. The nice thing about Wrath of the Skies is if you play it for 2, but you've cast a Tune the Narrative earlier in the game, you don't have to pay anything into the X for the mana cost. You just have to pay energy. So it's a 2 mana Wrath in many matchups, which is why this card's so good. It also deals with problematic cards for us like Pithing Needle, Disruptor Flute, things like that. It just blows those up, which is really nice. Hits the Unstable Amulet, which comes up all the time as well. Then, like I said, Swords to Plowshares. This is kind of embarrassing. We don't have any Mythic wild cards because I've been building a bunch of different Timeless decks. So this deck should be playing 4 Mana Drain, which is like the most absurd counter magic you can play in this format. But we're playing 1 and 3. If you have the Mythic wildcards, grab yourself full playset of Mana Drain and cut Counterspell from the deck. One time it did come up where it was better to have Counterspell because my opponent played Disruptor Flute naming Mana Drain, and then I counterspelled their follow-up, but that's not usually going to happen. 3 Teferi, it's really good with Wrath of the Skies to set up an instant speed Wrath. The main win condition of the deck is Phlage. If you've never seen Phlage cast, hopefully you get to cast it today. This card's insane. It wins the game on its own. It gains you life. It's a removal spell. It's every single thing this deck could possibly want. We've got Subtlety and Solitude, 2 newer additions to Arena. They're pitch elementals. They make our deck more consistent, as well as give us alternate win conditions once we've won the game by stabilizing with the One Ring. If you don't know what the One Ring does, I don't know how to help you. This card has been taking over multiple formats. People at one point, I don't know if they still do on Twitter, want it banned. Don't ban the One Ring in Modern. People are complaining about the number of copies in the Pro Tour. I was talking with my buddy Travis, who did the math, and if you took every Nadu deck from the Pro Tour out of the Pro Tour, there would be like 18 copies of the One Ring. And then Lórien Revealed just helps you get lands. This is nice, the mana base, because usually decks like this tend to be domain for cards like Leyline Binding. This deck doesn't need to do that because our removal's good. So we're actually playing a split of our Surveil lands. Our Triome, you actually don't need the Triome, but I just like playing the Triome. And then the Shocks, some basics, and then Monumental Henge is my utility land of choice. It's just, it comes into play untapped if you have a plains, and then you can tap it in 4 to look at the top 5 cards of your library and get a historic card and put it into your hand. So historic cards are Phlage, Teferi, the One Ring. Out of the sideboard, we have, let me move myself over here so you can see the sideboard. We've got Soul Guide Lantern is a big one. And then the rest of the sideboard is Consign to Memory. That card's insane against colorless decks like Belcher. 1 Tamiyo. I just like it for the control matchups where they remove all their removal. And if you turn 1 Tamiyo, you usually just kind of win. Mystical Dispute, some counter magics, some Archon of Emeria. This is a really important card for the Omni Show and Tell deck and the Breach decks. It's really good there. And then 1 Tishana's Tidebinder, which is probably honestly supposed to be Commandeer. That's the deck. We're going to play a couple games of Mythic ranked ladder in Timeless, and let's get into game number 1. All right, we found our first opponent, who is number 182. They got into Mythic way before us, it looks like, but we get to play. All right, adjusting and analyzing for opening hands in this format is kind of weird. The first thing we got to do is look to see if our opponent has a companion. They don't. Usually if it's Luris or Giganta, you can expect energy or some Grixis pile. but they don't have that. So this could be anything. And this hand is like fine-ish. We're on the play, so I think I'm going to keep it just for the card advantage. But this hand can be kind of dicey because if our opponent opens on Ragavan, we're stuck pitch casting a Solitude to deal with it, and that's not where we want to be. On the draw, I'd probably pitch this for something with a 1-mana removal spell, but we don't need that on the play, probably. If this is a show and tell, we're going to lose anyway game 1. So we'll just take our loss and sideboard in our Archon of Emeria and hope it's enough. What do you guys think is the best place for me to put my face? I know where to put my face for MTGO, but this is the only place I can keep it, and I know no one cares, but my companion's a koi fish, and I'm pretty into that. All right, we're going to lead on Flooded Nothing. We're going to lead on Meticulous Archive. That's a forced come into play tap land. We don't know what our opponent's playing, but that is 1-mana removal. I am inclined to keep that there. That could wind up being a mistake because we don't know what our opponent's playing. If they're not playing like a creature deck, it's going to be pretty bad. But if they open on like a 1-drop, we'll be super stoked that we kept it. And if we don't use it, hopefully we get to resolve the 1 ring and then do our thing. All right, that's a Hedge Mage, which does tell me we're playing against Show and Tell, which is one of our worst matchups. Unfortunate. All right, they passed us. We draw. It's that Swords that I don't think we want anymore. We'll play Flooded Strand and pass. This matchup's really, really tough. Luckily, the card Archon of Emeria is quite good against them. They have to be able to remove it, and if they can't, their combo just does not work. But they're going to eventually Thoughtseize us and then Show and Tell and then combo off on us. Game 1, without counter magic, there's nothing we can do, and they usually Thoughtseize you before they go for the combo. If you've never seen this deck combo, if this is the deck I think it is, you're going to see it today. All right. Thundering Falls tapped. Surveil, Tune the Narrative is pretty cool, but it's not actually what I'm looking for. We'll pitch that. Go to my turn. I've got a Teferi, which actually isn't the worst thing, but if they mana drain that, that's going to be abysmal. So I'm actually just going to put a Hallowed Fountain into play tapped and hold tight. They fetch. Please don't get a Undercity Sewers. That's going to mean you're definitely on the deck I don't want to play against. It's Undercity Sewers. Okay, I can't believe we're playing. I've gone an entire like week without having to play against Omni Show and Tell. Show and Omni Tell. What is this deck's name? And that is a Leyline of Sanctity. Yeah, this is Show and Tell for sure now. I'm locking it in. We could probably, if I weren't recording right now, I would actually just auto-concede game 1 because I don't think we can win. But in the interest of making the content, I'll make sure to just play through it so everyone can see what's going on in this matchup. This is definitely one of the worst matchups for us because even if we have Archon, they're still probably pretty favored against us because we don't have much of a clock. And you really need a clock to beat this deck. You need some disruption and then you need to clock your opponent, which can be kind of tough. All right, my turn. We draw Counterspell. That's actually pretty good. The hope here is now to draw land number 5 so I can go Teferi and protect it with Counterspell. We still lose if they go for the Show and Tell combo. But if they can't deal with the Teferi and I have Counterspell, then now we're like 40% to win instead of 5% to win. Underground Mortuary, very smart. They just used their first 3 turns to set up their... These Surveil lands are like so good. They're obviously very good in our deck. But decks like this Show and Tell deck, they can set up like the perfect sequence of cards because they go off all in one turn. And the Surveil lands, if they don't need to interact, they can just meticulously get every single Surveil land and set up every single draw. So when they go for it, they have like iterations of protection. I'm going to counterspell the Thoughtseize because I only have 1 counterspell and I want them to wonder. Because I do have 4 blue sources, so I could be bluffing another one. Breeding Pool, pass. Okay, Breeding Pool, pass. Mountain, we're going to drop the Teferi now. See if they have anything to say about that. The deck doesn't usually play a ton of removal, or interaction rather. They don't play like a ton of counter magic or anything in the main board. So my stuff will usually resolve, but now that we have resolved Teferi and don't have a counterspell, if our opponent sniffs that out, they are just going to go for it and we are going to lose the game. If they somehow just don't have it, I would be jaw dropped because they kept a 7-card hand. Mystic Sanctuary, get a Thoughtseize, put it back on top, makes sense. All right, looks like they're passing. Take a draw step, it's a Phlage, that's not very good for us. We're going to cast the 1 ring. The protection from everything will not matter because when they win the game. They don't cause us to lose the game. Draw Wrath of Disguise, and now that I'm tapped down to 1 blue mana, they probably go for it here. They can't Thoughtseize us on the bright side, but Show and Telling should just do the trick. All right, there's the Show and Tell. That resolves. We each get to put a thing into play. I'm going to put a Phlage into play. Just hit him in the face for a 3. And there's their Omniscience. All right, Phlage, deal 3 to them. Beep. And we begin. They probably go Atraxa here. It's a dig through time. If they don't find Atraxa, we might be okay-ish, but then there's still an Omniscience in play that we have to deal with. And even though Wrath of the Skies can destroy it, it is in fact an 11 drop, so making 11 energy is going to be tough. There's Atraxa. What I'm going to do is allow this combo to play out for the first time. Games 2 and 3, I won't let this combo play out because you'll kind of get it. But their Atraxa is going to go get one of each. And here, I think they're probably going to grab Born Upon the Wind as their instant, Mastermind's Acquisition as their sorcery, whatever is their land, another Atraxa. Is that what they did? Yes. Well, they grabbed Brainstorm as their instant. Is that what I said they would get? And then Mastermind's Acquisition is going to go get Approach of the Second Sun out of their sideboard. Where is it? Oh, they got another Atraxa? Or does it? Yeah, it is Approach of the Second Sun. They just don't have to show me. But they show me when they cast it. Then they're going to cast Atraxa for free. They're going to grab the Approach of the Second Sun. Or I guess they're going to assemble the team. It doesn't really make a difference how they do it. They look through the top third of their library, grab one. It's not a mystery card. It's just Approach of the Second Sun. Then they cast it, and then they win the game. Even if I had protection from the win, it wouldn't matter. Or protection from, even if I had protection from the ring, it wouldn't matter because they win the game. It does not interact with targeting me in any way. Okay, against this deck, now we're going to make some sideboard adjustments, but it does not necessarily mean that we're going to win game 2. It just means we have kind of a shot at winning game 2 if they're not privy to our sideboard plan. So we want 3 Archon of Emeria, because you'll notice on the turn that they won, they cast about 19 spells. We'll grab a Tamiyo because our removal needs to come out. We'll grab a Tishana's Tidebinder. We'll grab a Dovin's Veto. I think we'll grab a Mystical Dispute. Invert Polarity is probably pretty solid. And then I might do these Soul Guide Lanterns because Dig Through Time is a card they're interested in just naturally casting. These Consign to Memories are kind of medium. So then we're bringing 10 in. What are we taking out? We're going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 Swords to Plowshares, 1, 2, 3, 4 Galvanic Discharge, and 1, 2 Wrath of the Sky. Honestly, it might even make sense to take out 1 extra Wrath of the Sky and bring back in a Swords, just in case they randomly resolve an Atraxa or something, or they bring something out of the side that I don't know is coming. Then the Invert Polarity is a counterspell. Tishana's Tidebinder is like a threat, I guess. Mystical Dispute does counter the things I needed to. Archon of Emeria is our best sideboard card. Dovin's Veto is Dovin's Veto. Soul Guide Lantern hopefully is going to fight their ability to use Mystic Sanctuary and Dig Through Time. And then Tamiyo hopefully will give us some card draw. Even with all these changes, I suspect that we're still only like 30% to win this game, but we'll see what happens. All right, we play first. We have Mana Drain, Subtlety, Phlage. We do have the counter magic. We've got plenty of lands to set our draws up, so we're going to keep this. All right, we lead on Thundering Falls. Tune the Narrative, not quite what we're looking for just yet. Really never want to draw that card for the most part. Like if it's in our opener, we're happy to cycle through it, but we're never going to intentionally draw into Tune. So we have to spend a mana to redraw. That's kind of silly. All right, they pass to us. Draw another land is fine. We'll just play Flooded Strand and pass. They fetch, go to 19, sure. Probably Hedge Maze. Yep, Hedge Maze. It's right here. They're doing it. Put it in your graveyard. You don't want to draw that. Rats, they want to draw the card that's on top. That means it's good. Shock in Watery Grave into Assemble the Team? Sure. I could have mana drained that, but with nothing to do with my extra mana when I untap, I think I'm just going to wait. Okay, they passed us. We're going to go ahead and fetch. We're going to grab a Surveil land. In this case, I think we'll get Meticulous Archive to maintain blue-blue for the mana drain. Tamiyo Inquisitive Student is actually something we're interested in. They probably can't combo just yet, and we are highly interested in presenting some type of card advantage to the board. So we'll play that and pass. Also, flipping Tamiyo over means we can buy back Mana Drain if we have to cast it, or if it gets Thought Seized, which is pretty good. Alright, they're Thought Seizing. I will Mana Drain the Thought Seize. I just don't want them to be privy to what's in hand. We're not really going to be able to use the mana. I guess we can no, we can't even crack a clue with Tamiyo because we haven't made one yet. So there's a chance maybe we're supposed to Phlage them or something. We'll see what happens. Alright, Dark Writ into, are we show and telling? Is it already over? It's already over, yikes. Well, on the bright side, it's a quick game 1. I do not believe we can win through this. Yep, there's Atraxa. Phlage will deal 3 to your face. Alright, do your thing. So I'm not going to let them finish the combo, we'll concede, but I do want to make sure they have ways to do it. Assemble the Team plus Atraxa is a confirmed kill. They will go through enough of their deck. Rats, round 1 loss, hate to see it. This is the deck's worst matchup by a landslide. We just don't have enough speed. And now we're 11:44. Okay, we're going to get... That game was quick, so we may have time for 3 rounds today. Also, I feel the need to do 3 rounds so I can have a positive win rate. Let's get into round 2. All right, found our second round opponent, and we have an opener, and they reveal a companion. No companion. So this hand's just like generically good against creature decks, We do have like multiple surveils to set up our draws, so I think we'll keep this. Please don't lead on show and tell lands. I don't want to make another video with just show and tell stuff. Polluted Delta fetch. Are we going to play Deathrite Shaman? That would be fine. I'm probably supposed to kill it immediately so they can't ramp. Thoughtseize is even better. Our hand's pretty redundant. Oh, looks like we're playing against a scam deck. So they're probably going to go Grief, take my best card, then either reanimate or not dead after all and take our second best card. Luckily, our scam matchup, if you want to call it that, anything where they reanimate Griefs, is kind of solid, to be honest. All right, they take our removal spells. We draw we draw Thundering Falls. We have Elegant Parlor. I think we just want to play the Elegant Parlor here because our removal spells are both these colors. So we can try to find like anything that's a Meticulous Archive, so we're not going to take it. But Elegant Parlor casts Galvanic Discharge and Swords to Plowshares, which is pretty good. But this scam deck, if they can keep us off of like playable cards for long enough, it's going to be quite good. And if they reanimate this troll, it's going to be like wild. But if we just draw our removal, we'll be probably okay. Double reanimate hand's going to be real bad for us though, which they have. But we aren't necessarily dead yet. Swords to Plowshares is super good against this deck. Oh, and they have another Grief? Yikes. All right, well, lucky for me, I did not draw a 1-mana removal spell yet, so I have like 2 turns to find it. Lórien Revealed isn't it, but I can go Thunder... No, do we cycle the Lórien Revealed? I think we do. We're going to Island cycle Lórien Revealed. We're actually going to get a basic Island. We're doing that first because we're about to Surveil. And then what's on top? Counterspell is not what we're looking for. So this is it. We're going to take 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's going to bring us down to 5. And no, to 8. 6, 7, 8, 9, bring us down to 8. So we get... Looks like we get another chance to draw it. We need to draw it, so let's go ahead and play Scalding Tarn. We'll fetch. We have a Surveil land left in our deck, right? No, we actually binned the Meticulous Archive. So we'll just get... Are there any 2-drops we can draw? No, not really. We'll grab Raugrin Triome, and then we're going to tune the narrative and cross our fingers that it is a 1-mana removal spell. Either of them will do. They draw Orcish Bowmasters. This hand has been absolutely nuts from our opponent. Draw, we miss it. Okay, we lose. I promise it's not that bad. That was probably the top 1% of top 1% hands from Scam. This matchup doesn't actually require a ton of sideboarding from us. There's a couple things we probably want, like Soul Guide Lantern's going to be pretty good. I don't like Invert Polarity. I don't think Supreme Verdict's necessary. Although maybe I want it since Troll gets so big that Wrath is kind of clunky against it. Then we don't want Tamiyo or Consign or Archon or Sunset. That's all fine. And as far as what we're cutting, I'll go over here so you can see better. As far as what we're cutting, we probably want to drop like 1 Teferi. We probably want to drop a copy of Tune the Narrative because of their Orcish Bowmasters. And then Counter Magic's kind of clunky. I think I'm going to cut 1 Counterspell just because once they scam you out, you kind of want to deal with what's on the board already as opposed to deal with what they might be casting after, because you saw how fast that deck can go. Now, if you saw that and you're like, I want to play this deck immediately, that does not happen most of the time. When it does, you usually win. But if we had drawn like Swords to Plowshares there, or even Galvanic Discharge, it likely would have bought us enough time to resolve Ring and just win the game. Double Solitude plus Subtlety. This hand's like not the worst. I can use Solitude to deal with a Grief. I'm pretty low on mulliganing aggressively against a scam deck. This hand's like, I'd give this like a 5.5 out of 10, but we get to open on Surveilling, which is pretty good. So we'll play Flooded Strand and pass. Also, Monumental Henge, if the game goes long, will just win us the game on its own. They play Polluted Delta, and it looks like they don't do anything, so we're not getting scam turn 1, which is already like really good for us. We'll open on Thundering Falls, because it can cast both the energy card, Galvanic Discharge, and Counterspell. Wrath of the Skies is pretty good. It's not what we're looking for just yet, I don't think. No. We want to draw some quicker action first. All right, me go. A 3rd Solitude, actually not the greatest, but actually not the worst. I can pitch Solitude if I need to, and still have a Solitude in my hand. Fetch a Polluted Delta, get Undercity Sewers, Surveil. Please don't put a Troll into the bin. I don't want to 2-4 myself just yet. They put a land into the bin, no big deal. Polluted Delta number 3, sure. All right, I'm going to fetch. This might cause them to want to Bowmasters us, that's fine. We were never going to Counterspell a Bowmasters anyway. All right, they don't do anything. We're going to grab, I think, Meticulous Archive here. Lórien Revealed, not quite what we're looking for. We'll put that in the graveyard. My turn? My turn. All right, we draw Wrath of this guys, which we were going to want to do at some point anyway. We will just play Hallowed Fountain tapped and pass. We really want to draw land 5, because at this point, we just want to start hard casting our Solitudes. If we just start hard casting Solitudes, there's likely not a lot our opponent can do, which is great. But this is, for those of you who didn't see it, I did do a timeless video on something close to what our opponent's deck is, which is like, this is blue-black scam. So they have like Sataru and Psychic Frog probably. But they're splashing white, which means, I don't know exactly what it means. Did we see it last game? We didn't. It could mean a couple things. Maybe they're playing Solitude. We draw Soul Guide Lantern, which is quite good. We're not going to play it yet because we have this Subtlety, and we're pretty interested in just subtletying whatever our opponent tries to do this turn if they do anything. And if they don't, that means they're not doing anything, which is also fine. Phyrexian Scrapyard. Discard a card, conjure a card named Phyrexian Scrapyard into your hand. Sacrifice 3 lands named Phyrexian Scrap card. Conjure a card called Soul of the New Phyrexia into the battlefield. What is Soul of New Phyrexia? Oh, the 6 mana thing. That seems medium. I guess it's grindy. And if our opponent continues to do nothing, if we draw land 5, we can just start using this Monumental Henge to put rings in our hand. All right, we miss our land drop here. We could just play Teferi, but I'm willing to bet that our opponent's playing some number of counterspells, so we'll wait to drop Teferi until we would have to go to discard. We'll just wait here. They play a swamp. They pass to us. We miss... Ooh, that's a Phlage. Actually, we're going to go to end step and discard the Phlage. Phlage to bin. Grief, pitch a card. All right, here's my Subtlety. There's a dispute. They do have the counter magic. All right, so this Grief's going to come into play and snatch something. It might make sense to Solitude it still. Though I'm going to be left, even if they double Grief us, I'll be left with at least 1 Solitude. So if I pitch Solitude to Solitude and they take Solitude with Grief, I lose 3 Solitudes. If I let them take 2 Solitudes and cast 1, I lose 2 Solitudes and have 1 in play. So that play is just a little bit better. All right, they take Teferi, which makes some amount of sense, I think. I have to imagine they're going to reanimate here, which is also fine. Oh, they just hard cast Grief, sure. I wonder what they take. All right, they take a Solitude. If they don't have the land drop, it's probably correct to just Soul Guide Lantern them. Plains, I can just hard cast Solitude, but I think I want to like not let them reanimate anything ever. So I'm just going to cast Soul Guide Lantern. Off of its trigger, we'll take the Grief out of the graveyard. Then we're going to chill. We've also got this Phlage in our graveyard, and 1 more red source makes it castable. So that's pretty good. All right, they attack us for 3, sure. They pass, whatever. We're going to pass right back. Now we have 5 mana up, so we can start activating Monumental Henge. We can cast Solitude. In fact, I might cast the first Solitude just to like get them to tap some mana. Because they'd have to tap 3 in order to Mystical Dispute Solitude. So they need hard counter magic. All right, here's Solitude. Eat Grief. Ooh, whites for Ephemerate. Sure, that's fine. So Grief re-enters. They probably are forced to take Solitude here. And I will attack through their Grief with Solitude as well, because we want to start gaining some life pretty quick here. Migo. Counterspell's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and tune the narrative now. Because in this spot, I might actually counter an Orcish Bowmasters. The 1 ring. That's pretty good. All right, let's get him with Solitude. And then they're going to flashback the Ephemerate, so I think I need to feed them a ring. I think. Yeah, let's feed them a ring. They probably have like Dovin's Veto or Negate or something, or maybe Mana Drain. I don't know if this deck can play Mana Drain, but we'll see. Just a Mystical Dispute, which is fine. All right, you're up. Ephemerate rebounds. They probably are supposed to hit the Grief. To take my Counterspell at this point, I think is the best thing. But remember how I said Monumental Henge is very good? Their clock is very, very slow now that I have a Solitude, and they just flickered their attacker. So they're giving me a lot of time to start using Monumental Henge to draw copies of the Ring and Teferi and extra Phlages and stuff. And that will be, as you can imagine, quite good. They're going to land cycle Troll, which is fine. At some point, I imagine they're just going to go to like reanimate the Troll to force me to crack the Soul Guide Lantern. I'm never going to crack it unless I need to, though. Or if I'm going to, cast Wrath of this guy's. That's one of the reasons we don't play Rest in Peace. Not only does it stop our Phlage plan from being as good, but it also just gets blown up by Wrath of this guy's, which is, like, not the greatest. All right, we go to combat, attack for 3. They block. I'm cool with that. Take a trade, I'll go up to 18. You're up, opponent. They just draw. If they don't do anything here, it's going to start going really south for them really quickly. All right, there's a persist. I'll go ahead and blow up this lantern now. Not a chance. All right, looks like they're passing, so I'm going to activate Monumental Henge. Hey, what if I start just drawing cards? Teferi and Soul Guide Lantern. We'll take Teferi. Me go. Me play Teferi. You got a counterspell? You don't? Alright, Orcish Bowmasters is a huge consideration, so we're just going to tick the Teferi up. That way they can't, like, Bowmaster the Teferi and kill it. Because now we're going to try to use this Teferi to force our 1 ring into play. I don't know how they're supposed to beat that. They fetch, sure. Little tapped Godless Shrine. Little hard cast Solitude. Little bit of no, not a chance. Wait, maybe this is fine. No, Solitude's fine. It doesn't remove anything, and I could, if they follow it up with Thoughtseize, like that's really bad for us because we have a ring. So now we draw another ring. We play the one ring. We're gonna draw us a card with the one ring. Oh yeah, we're doing our thing. Here's another land. This Teferi can go down, bounce the Solitude, draw another card. All right, now our opponent, I think, just cannot win anymore, which is great. Hopefully they see that at some point, because like watching this deck win, unless I'm doing it with Phlage, isn't very interesting. It's like a Solitude or a Subtlety in play, just not doing anything. Reanimate my Phlage. Do not do that. They want to kill my Teferi with Phlage, which I am not interested in at all. There's a hard cast Solitude, great. Yeah, if their game plan is to hard cast a 3/2 at sorcery speed every turn, we're gonna win the game. Let's tick up the Teferi, tap the ring, draw 2 cards. Put a Hallowed Fountain into play tapped. Tap should be fine. And then I'm just going to pass. They're stuck at sorcery speed. If they weren't stuck at sorcery speed, I probably would have removed the Solitude there. Looks like it's a Grief, so we're going to cast Subtlety. This is how we turn the corner. We'll put the Grief back on top. And then they'll probably go to attacks, and we'll Galvanic Discharge the Solitude. Might even make sense to Swords it. No, I'm going to save my Swords probably for a Troll if they have that. I don't care if they reanimate a Solitude. So they're going to go to combat, attack Teferi. I'm going to discharge the Solitude, paying 2 energy. So I actually net an energy. That's part of why this deck's so good. Cards like Discharge usually make you go up on energy, making your Wrath of the Skies that you cast later in the game much, much better. We'll take 2 to the ring, draw a card. We'll draw 3. Our opponent sees it, they concede. This game's just going to keep going until I draw another red source and play Phlage and protect it, and they can't win. Did I see anything game 2 that I would like to play better against? Their Mystical Disputes, I can fight them with my Mystical Dispute, but that just feels like wrong. I think their Mystical Disputes are better than mine, and I shouldn't pick that fight. I think we're actually just fine with their deck the way it is for game 3. All right, game 3 of this opener is actually not bad. Swords is going to be really good. If they grief scam us, they grief scam us. There's, outside of Subtlety, there's nothing we can do about that. And pitching a Subtlety to, delay a grief by 1 turn, if we're on the draw, meaning we can't counter the grief on the way back down, means that we pitch 2 to the grief, which the grief was going to get from us anyway. Then they grief us again, and we lose a 3rd card, and that's not very good. So we're just going to keep this based on the raw power level of the removal, followed by these really good artifacts. And we'll see what happens. They don't do anything, meaning that we will do something. It's kind of sketchy to not lead on blue, because my counter magic isn't as good. But ultimately, I think I just want to get this Soul Guide Lantern into play. Soul Guide Lantern enters, we pass. Now I just have this in place so the reanimate lines, they just don't have access to them, which is very good for us, as you can imagine. They fetch probably 4 Undercity Sewers. Yep. Look at me knowing how to sequence bad reanimator decks. I say it's bad. Scam, I think, is actually a very good place to be. So I was wrong. They're not quite playing the blue-black version I was playing with, like, the Blood Gas and stuff. This is a much more mid-rangey version. They do have Solitude. They're playing Ephemerate. They have a much more mid-rangey game plan. There's a Psychic Frog. It just isn't going to make it, unfortunately. But that is a sweet card that I love. All right, let's do Scalding Tarn, Swords to Plowshares, the Psychic Frog. And then pass to you, opponent. Marsh Flats don't do anything. Great. Fetch. Please don't stifle me. That would be a shocker if they just stifled my fetch land. I'd probably concede and cry. We've got a Plains in play, meaning we probably want Thundering Falls. Now we have all 3 colors. And is this a land? It's not. I think we actually want land 4 pretty bad, so we'll put that in the graveyard. Migo. All right, Monumental Henge is a land. Let's put into play this mountain. Pass to you. Their best play here is probably Bowmasters, which we have just taken care of super easily by Galvanic Discharge. No sweat there. What we really would like them to not do is hardcast a grief and just take our 1 ring. That said, the chances of our 1 ring resolving in this game is pretty low if we just cast it straight away. But we had the Monumental Henge, so the idea is that we're going to draw more rings than they have counter magic. Or, Monumental Henge, get Teferi, protect a ring is another line. I wish that we could play like a few more legendary lands, to be honest. The only land that Monumental Henge can get is Otawara, which we do play 1 copy of. But I don't think we can play like Iganjo. So they reanimate, meaning that I'm going to pop this Soul Guide Lantern. It's a little early, but it basically counters reanimate for 0 mana, which is great. And that was their whole turn. That's amazing. Here's Monumental Henge. They can't Mystical Dispute this. So they need either Consign to Memory, Dovin's Veto, or No More Lies. I'm going to jam this ring and see if it just resolves. They have Orcish Bowmasters, so it does just resolve. Ouch. Ring comes into play. I get protection. I will now draw a card. I don't care if you grow your Bowmasters here. And pass to you. This Phlage is going to take care of the Bowmaster problem we have. And we're so lucky as to even have 2 red sources, so if they can, like, Subtlety or Phlage or something, we can just Galvanic Discharge the Bowmaster and keep drawing cards. We're not out of the woods yet, but we very likely do have this game. Alright, island, great. Here's my island. Here's Phlage. What do you think about this? Phlage gaining life when you have a ring in play is, like, so huge. They could ephemerate the Bowmasters, but we will have a response to that. Potentially 2 responses to that. Alright, ephemerate. Here's the Galvanic Discharge. I'm good. We're not going to gain the 3, unfortunately, but that's fine. We just want to draw cards off our 1 ring without being interrupted by the Bowmaster. Alright, Phlage goes to the bin. I'm going to draw 2. How do you win? Alright, you're up, opponent. This is why our matchup into Scam is so good, because they can break up our early hand all they want, but once we resolve a ring or some way to gain card advantage, their entire plan looks kind of medium. They're going to reanimate Orcish Bowmasters, which is fine. We're actually not going to try to remove it yet, because if they drew another Ephemerate, that's pretty bad for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to untap, then we're going to Swords to Plowshares the Orcish Bowmaster. Actually, it might make sense to just cast Wrath of the Skies and deal with both permanents, which now that I'm saying it out loud is exactly what I'm going to do. I'll pay 0 mana into Wrath, confirm 0, auto pay 1/2, goodbye Bowmasters, and the Orc token, which is very good for us. Draw 3 cards. There's another 1 ring, which is how we're going to get out from underneath our current 1 ring being at 3 burden counters. Then we'll play Meticulous Archive, get a little Surveil action in. That's a Teferi, that's very good. And pass, because we have 7 in hand. And I do not think our opponent can ever win this game now, which gives me such a fuzzy, happy feeling. There's a Grief that just resolves. With it on the stack, I would like to Galvanic Discharge your Grief. 1/2. They're probably going to take our 1 ring, thinking that they can kill us with their current 1 ring. We, however, have Teferi. Just coming right now. I probably should have cast that Tune the Narrative. I don't think it actually matters. Alright, let's activate 1 ring. Okay, let's play Teferi. The biggest nightmare is that they have a Subtlety, but they don't. So we minus the Teferi on the 1 ring. Now we're going to stop taking damage to it, draw a card, and they concede. Okay. That's exactly how that's supposed to go. That game 1 was very good for our opponent. I'm sure they felt amazing about that. But typically, those games 2 and 3, that's closer to how this deck operates against the Scamish decks. We've only been recording for 40 minutes. Let's do a 3rd best of 3 game in the ladder. All right, Bread, Soup, and Cheese are round 3 opponent, and they are number 70. So they're killing it on the ladder. They're a Lurrus deck, which gives us just so much information. This hand is Counterspell, Subtlety, Galvanic Discharge, the 1 ring, and Teferi. If this is Breach, this hand kind of sucks. We also need to make our land drops, but going Galvanic Discharge into Counterspell seems very high ROI. And then drawing a white source to play Teferi and protect the ring is very good. And as you can see down here, we're 40% to draw land because I used OnTap GG, I think is the name of the overlay. You can do this math by yourself. That's why I'm comfortable using it. 2 lands, we play 23, plus 2 Lórien Revealeds. So if you count Lórien Revealeds, we're probably closer to 43.5 or so percent. But I think we're going to keep this. Our fail state is obvious. We just do not draw land. We're also going to shock the Steam Benson because our opponent's playing a Lurrus deck, so the chance they lead on, Ragavan is non-zero. And if they do lead on Ragavan, I want to Galvanic Discharge it. But if I have to discharge it, I can't counterspell their 2-drop, which is not where we want to be. All right, they play Arid Mesa, fetch, go to 19. Are they shocking, and are they getting a Boros land? That's going to give me just so much information. All right, it's a Godless Shrine into an Ocelot Pride. Okay, so same difference. We're very happy to do this. Galvanic Discharge, pay 1 energy, go up to 2 energy. So future Wrath of the Skies are going to be very good. Then they pass to our turn, and we draw not the land we wanted, but a land. So we'll just play it and pass. They're not a blue deck, so resolving the 1 ring is going to be something we just get to do. We're going to counterspell the Amp Raptor in the interest of just keeping their board as empty as possible to, set up the stage for our 1 ring / Teferi. Seems good. Flooded Strand, great draw. Fetch for basic claims. No need to get too picky with our lands here. Our mana's pretty good already. Play Teferi. We're going to tick it up because they don't have energy, so they can't Galvanic Discharge the Teferi. And if they wanted to cast Static Prison on the Teferi, it's kind of easy for us to get Static Prison out of play. That's no sweat. And they play Orcish Bowmasters, which is great because our Teferi doesn't die to that. Then we draw another land. We're going to go up with the Teferi again. And we will... Do we shock the Steam Benson into play? Don't think we need to. We're just going to jam the 1 ring. And we're not going to draw until after they've attacked. That way, if they attack Teferi for 2, they bring it to 3. And then the Bowmasters triggers and brings the Teferi to 2, but that doesn't bring the Teferi to 1, is basically the big swing there. Because even though they can't target us with the damage from Bowmasters, they still can target the Teferi and grow the Orc army before combat damage, which seems medium. They have Galvanic Discharge, which is kind of a bummer, but we will allow it. The reason we're not drawing cards into response is because I don't know if they know that they can use Bowmasters to shoot the Orc to grow the Orc. Some people just don't know that, so we'll see what happens. God of Souls resolves. Reasonably, I should have activated the One Ring before that happened, but that's fine. All right, Orc, shoot Orc, they know the trick. Migo, I lose protection, but I draw a card. That's not a Wrath of the Skies, but I can just Solitude the Orcish Bowmaster and then draw cards. Seems good. All right, here's Solitude. Get out of here. No more Bowmaster for you. I would like to draw 2 cards. Those are 2 very good cards. I'll pass to you. Having Subtlety up is actually not nothing as well. If they go to Bowmaster me, I probably do just deal with it using Subtlety. They just take out the Solitude with Discharge, which is fine. But we can draw off this One Ring and then bounce it with Teferi to protect ourselves from it. We don't want them going wide with Ocelot Pride just yet, so we actually are going to Subtlety the Ocelot Pride. Because they're going to start going wide, and our ring is dealing us damage, and we're not quite ready to pick it up yet. We might be after we draw from it. We haven't seen those cards yet, so we want to be careful. We still get to see the top 4 cards of our library before anything happens, but not before going to 9. All right, let's draw cards with the ring. All right, that's just so many lands. Let's go ahead and play Teferi. We will bounce the ring to our hand. Draw a card. Tune the Narrative's not bad. We will play... Maybe we tune the Narrative first and then play Meticulous Archive, just to get the filtering. Okay, now we're going to cycle the Lórien Revealed. Because of the ring, I don't think we're ever going to hardcast it. Of course, we don't want to get Thought Seized either, but we'll see what happens. We'll grab a basic island so it doesn't hurt us. Then we will play our Meticulous Archive, check the top, it's a Flooded Strand, put that into the bin, pass. We've drawn just so many lands. Drawing the first copy of Wrath of the Skies probably just wins the game on the spot. Kill Teferi, hit me for 2, makes sense. Our life total is low enough now that the ring is going to be a sketchy way to draw cards for the foreseeable future. A Wrath of the Skies should just win us the game, though. That is a Swords to Plowshares. That is not a Wrath of the Skies, unfortunately. We will play the One Ring. Do we have every single Surveil land in play? Not even close. So we're probably looking at scrying or surveilling before we draw off the One Ring. No, we'll draw and then surveil. All we need to do is find Wrath of the Skies, and then we need to find a way to like reset our ring, because our ring doing us 1,000,000 damage is going to be pretty tough. They go to combat. They attack us for 2. Are they going to jump it? That might be a pretty good play here. Luckily, we have protection from the ring. And they also jump the only thing that kills a Johnny, or that flips a Johnny. So we're going to do all of our drawing and surveilling first, but I think we're going to Swords the Ajani if we can't guarantee that we draw Wrath of the Skies. All right, fetch. Hold, control. There's a reason I put on full control. I'm going to grab Elegant Parlor. Nope, I want more blue, I think. Right? I've got 4 blue. We'll grab Elegant Parlor. That comes into play, puts a Surveil trigger on the stack. We're going to draw a card in response. All right, Thundering Falls, then we Surveil. Counterspell we do not want. And then I think we'll actually wait another turn to Swords because we've got so much mana. So we'll untap, take a damage to the ring, draw this card. It's a Teferi. Let's draw 2 to the ring. There's the Wrath. Let's go ahead and play Island and then jam Teferi. And then from there, we will pick the ring back up, draw a card. We'll play the One Ring back out, leaving a white up. Now they can't like flip their Ajani instant speed because of the Teferi, so we're not sweating it. We just want to see how they do combat before using our Swords to Plowshares. We'll pitch Hallowed Fountain because we just do not have room to shock that into play here. Land, they probably want to buy their Lyris. There they go. They go to combat. They probably full send it to Teferi, if I had to guess. If they do, we just don't have to use our Swords to Plowshares. You can't float anything. Teferi's dead. Is that all you got? Migo, I'll take nothing off the One Ring, which is pretty sweet. And then, yeah, the biggest thing they have is 2. So what I'm going to do is go Wrath of the Skies, pays 0. I just want to leave as much mana up as possible. And then I'm going to pay 2 to wipe everything. And if they want to destroy their cat in response, I can Swords it, but they don't. So I'll pay 2, wipe your board. Ajani's trigger goes on the stack, but Ajani is no longer in place, so that is inconsequential. We will play Thundering Falls, get a little Surveil action in. Wrath of the Skies number 2 is always welcome. And then we will start gaining our life back. We'll Phlage them. Now, they're going to get a spell out of the graveyard at least once off of the Lyris, but then we'll be able to Swords the Lyris, so that's kind of no sweat. If they have a fetch, they need to play it and crack it first so that way they don't get blown out. Looks like they're just not playing Lurrus, which tells me maybe they have an Orcish Bowmasters in hand. They're probably expecting me to draw cards off the ring. I just do not need to. Let's play Scalding Tarn and escape a Phlage. My favorite thing in the world. Okay, exile 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. Phlage come into play, me go to 11. I'll start using this ring again eventually. Beep. All right, you're up, opponent. Good luck. Orcish Bowmasters, we'll start by drawing a card off this ring. It's another 1 ring that resolves. Ping me for 1, sure. The reason we're not taking out this Orcish Bowmasters with Swords to Plowshares is because I'm eyeballing that Lurrus is a serious problem. All right, they're playing Lurrus, that's fine. Now, if their play is to just put a 1-drop into play, then the game, I think, is officially over. They're going to reanimate my own Solitude. That is fine. Yeah, we don't really care. We're probably supposed to Swords the Solitude, though, so I don't have to pay a million mana into Wrath of this guy's. All right, my Phlage is gone. Tap lands, you got it. Reanimating Solitude's pretty sweet. That is one of the problems with playing Solitude in our deck against reanimate decks, is sometimes the Solitude's good against us too. All right, we take 2. Sure. Swords to Plowshares. Goodbye, Solitude. It was good to see you, though. And then do we have another Surveil land? No. We still fetch, though. We want to start not drawing any lands ever again, so we'll just get Raugrin Triome. Now our mana's perfect. Take 1, draw a card. It's a Solitude. That's great. Wrath of the Skies. We'll pay a quick 2 into it so we can retain 1 energy, and then we'll pay 3. Bye, everybody. Because now we still have Solitude up, which is nice. And then we'll draw off the 1 ring here, just because I don't want a Bowmasters to cause problems. For that same reason, we'll cast Tune the Narrative and go up to 3 energy. And then we will pass the turn. How do you win? Amp Raptor is, I don't think going to do it. We hit Unstable Amulet. I also think that's not going to do it. Comes into play. You get 2 energy. That's pretty sweet. Tap it. Check top card. No? Okay, good talk. I'm going to play Solitude. I want to start attacking you, if that's okay. Eat the Amp Raptor. Activate Unstable. Resolves. Another Unstable. Man, if only you had done that at your turn. Discharge? Sure. Alright, Solitude gets hit. Amp Raptor comes out of play. I'll fetch. Go to 11, then down to 9 off my 1 ring. Grab my Hallowed Fountain. Me go. 9. Wrath. Draw 3. Land. Another 1 ring. Keep the new one. Phlage. Dome you with the Phlage. And then escape the Phlage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we have any creatures besides the Solitude? Yeah, Subtlety. Now that we know our opponent's playing Reanimate, we can start to play around the Reanimate by escaping away our creatures, which is pretty cool. Bring you to 6. I'll go to 15, and you're up. I'm not really sure why we're still playing the game. Our opponent's spells, just like on a spell-for-spell basis, are just so much weaker than mine at this point in the game that it's just too late. I've got like literally 15 lands in play. I guess playing to every single one of your outs is pretty good. Like that Reanimate's fine. I didn't leave any creatures in my bin for them to hit, so that's not going to matter. And then their bin is all very medium creatures. They can hit like Lurrus and lose 3 life, but then they just die to Phlage attacking. Guide of Souls is fine. Like, what's their line here? They cannot block my, what are we hitting? We're using Unstable. We're going to shoot me twice, sure. Reanimate Lurrus, sure. Guide of Souls gains you a life, sure. Ocelot Pride, I'll take 2. I want to hold full control here. You know what? I'm not. I'm just going to kill the Lurrus, actually. They're just dead. All right. You gain a life. Make a billion cards off your Ocelot Pride is fine. I'm going to Galvanic Discharge that Lurrus. And there's a reason for that. It's because I want to Wrath of the Skies, but I want to do it on 2 so I don't kill my own Phlage. Because Wrath of the Skies is symmetrical. So if I do it on 2, it'll blow up their whole board, including their blockers. And then Phlage will attack, trigger, deal 3 to them, 6 more. 7 minus 9 is -2, which is a lethal life total. That kills the dog. Okay, cast for 0. Confirm 0. Auto pay. Want to concede? No? Okay, you're going to activate that? Sure. Yep, that sure is a Sacred Foundry. 1, 2. And then beep, beep. Are you going to concede before I actually hit you? Are you one of those people? Nope, cool. They at least took the hit. Respect. All right, bread and cheese soup, or bread soup and cheese. What's good against this deck? This deck's a little bit different from the typical Boros Energy deck. They're playing Reanimate, but at the end of the day, they are just functionally Boros Energy. So we're going to sideboard similarly. The thing about Boros Energy is they play Phlage, so we were bringing in Soul Guide Lantern anyway, and Supreme Verdict. We don't want Invert Polarity, Dovin's Veto, Tishana's Tidebinder, Dissipate, or Mystical Dispute, Tamiyo. We don't want Consign, we don't want Archon, we don't want Sunset Revelry. None of those cards are very good at all. Cards we don't want are 2 Counterspells, because they are going to be playing 1-drops, 2-drops, sometimes Aluris. But anytime we trade a Counterspell for a 1-drop, we lose like so much mana advantage that it's just not worth it, and our removal is just so good. The other card we're going to lose is a single copy of Tune the Narrative, and that's just because it draws a card and we're on the draw, so the Orcish Bowmasters might see that and punish us. On the play, we might actually cut like a Teferi and go back up a Tune the Narrative, just because we have an extra turn to set up making 2 energy for the Wrath of the Skies. But here, I don't think that makes very much sense, so we'll just be on the draw for game 2. All right, double Wrath of the Skies, Lórien Revealed, Phlage. At first glance, this hand might seem enticing. I, however, cannot beat an Ocelot Pride or a Ragavan or a, what is the name of the Soul Sister? The 1-drop that gains like energy and life. I can't beat any of those cards, so I'm actually gonna mulligan, see if I can find a 1-drop removal spell, which I did in Swords to Plowshares. This hand has a different problem, the problem of mana. I've got 2 white sources and a Steam Vents. What I'm probably honestly supposed to do is pitch the Solitude, because I can Swords the first thing, Phlage the like second or third thing, and then try to stabilize with Ring, but I'm already mulliganing, so I don't want to like 2-fool on myself by pitch casting Solitude. So I'll actually put the Solitude on the bottom per the London mulligan. Sacred Foundry into Guide of Souls. We had a plan for that. Here's a plan. Let's go. They play him out and they're going to combat. I have to take this earphone out because it's dead, but I'll put in the other one so I can still listen to music. YouTube won't let me play the music I want to play because, well, it's not YouTube. It's like copyright infringement, but you know what I mean. We'll take 1. Amped Raptor is fine. Trigger the Guide of Souls, gain an energy, gain a life. We don't really care about the life. We care a bit about the energy though. A Johnny is the best thing they could hit. Luckily, I saved the Swords to Plowshares. All right, do the thing, but no thank you. All right, they're going up to 3 energy, which is problematic because now they can jump something. However, we did just draw our Wrath of the Skies, which is very good. We'll put the Steam Vents into play tapped, and then we're probably gonna have to use this Phlage to kill whatever they jump, unless they have like this heads up play of jumping their own Guide of Souls. Then it becomes an X4 and we can't Phlage it. So that would be very good for our opponent. They, however, are jumping the cat, which means I can Phlage that, which is pretty good. Shock and by Lurrus, sure. Okay, we draw Flooded Strand, which is great. Let's go ahead and Phlage the Flyer, just to save our life total as much as possible. This Lurrus is going to be the most problematic thing, probably, but they don't have anything in the bin just yet, so I'm not sweating it yet. There's another Amp Raptor, meaning that we're going to be able to Wrath away the entire board, likely. Yep, that's a Ragavan. They probably put that into play. There it is, gaining an energy. They can jump something still. They're going to deal a lot of damage. Our best draw here is, unironically, any blue card. So I can Subtlety the Lurrus after casting his Wrath. Shadowy Backstreet, they Surveil. Well, don't extend further, obviously. Okay, we draw Mountain. We're going to save this Flooded Strand. Unfortunately, we didn't draw blue card, but that's okay. Can we escape the Phlage? No, we can't. So we're going to play Mountain. And now that I'm thinking about it, why would I Wrath of the Skies when I can just cast the One Ring? Silly me. I'll just gain protection from everything and pass the turn. Who cares? The reason you cast the ring first is to like encourage them extending further if they want to. It also gives us another turn to draw blue for the Subtlety. A blue creature rather, because you know if we Wrath, we're not going to have the mana to hard cast the Subtlety. So we want to pitch cast it to keep Lurrus out of play, because after we Wrath of the Skies, their bin is going to be full. Static Prison, that's going to play really well into this Wrath of the Skies. That means we get to draw a card and not take a damage to the One Ring. I don't get why they leave Static Prison in this matchup. Disruptor Flute, are you going to name Wrath of the Skies? That will kill me, I think. Nope, they named the One Ring. Okay, they could have named Wrath of the Skies with Disruptor Flute and been in a very good spot here. But every time someone casts Disruptor Flute, they keep naming the One Ring, and then this keeps happening to them. I'm going to Wrath, paying 1-2, autopay, beep. Bye, everybody. Yep, you fetch. Is there some secret interaction I'm not seeing? Nope, it's just a Blood Crypt. All right, pay 1-2. Goodbye, every single card. And now we kind of don't care about the Lurrus because we're going to play Flooded Strand and fetch. And we can already escape Phlage, right? Yeah, we've got white, white, red, red. So we have escape Phlage mana, so we're safe to just get a Plains here. Or an island, rather. And play the Soul Guide Lantern. And then take whatever out of the graveyard because we're just going to be able to crack the Lantern when they play Lurrus, and it's not going to matter. Pass turn. Yeah, our opponent maybe could have won the game if they just named the correct card off of their Disruptor Flute. But they named the One Ring, as if the One Ring was even going to be a functioning card in that sequence anyway. Exile your graveyard. Here's a Lurrus. Land. Pass to me. I'm actually not going to draw a card off this One Ring yet. Me go. Now that I'm so far ahead, I'm going to play around their last card being exactly Orcish Bowmasters. Surgical Extraction. I guess I'll take this moment to draw a card off the ring. And then Galvanic Discharge the Luris. All I need to do is draw Solitude to win the game. I don't actually need Phlage to win. I think Surgical Extraction is kind of like a medium side in this matchup. I think people want it to be better than it is, but Surgical Extraction is good when you Surgical Extract your opponent and their deck stops functioning. Taking my Phlage out at this point in the game especially doesn't really achieve anything. I'm probably like 90% to win from here. We're going to play Arid Mesa. We're probably just going to fetch for a Plains, and then we'll start using the Monumental Henge. Yep, your fetch is good. The deck that I like better, that is like a Mardu energy deck, is the Chthonian Nightmare version that's lower to the ground. For all I know, our opponent's doing that, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to make the assumption. All right, we're going to grab Plains because we need white, and we'll activate Monumental Henge. Nothing, which is fine. We can miss this as many times as we want, because as the game goes on, we're gonna start not missing very quickly. All right, cool. I'll take one. The Bowmasters is in play. Now the Bowmasters, on the other hand, is a huge problem. What we can do, however, is just pass. They're probably incentivized to attack. Just with that, sure. You know, if it's just with the 1/1, we're actually gonna take it and then reactivate the Monumental Henge. There's a Teferi, perfect. Me go. I'll take one. Draw another Teferi. That's not the worst. We're going to play a Teferi, a second Orcish Bowmasters. This is how they buy back into the game. How do we deal with this? We can hardcast Subtlety, and that would protect the Teferi as well. But that's at the expense of losing lots of life. We would have to go down to 1, and then our 1 ring would actually kill us. So that means we have to pitch cast this Subtlety. Pitch Teferi, cast Subtlety. No thank you, Orcish Bowmasters. I'm gonna go back to the top of the library, please. Now we just need to draw Solitude to lock the game up, but now it is much more difficult than it was. Bounce Orcish Bowmasters. That's not a Solitude. If I draw a card, I would draw 2 cards, and then I would take 2. So their Bowmaster would kill us, because they can pump the 1/1. I think we still have to do it. I think we found the 10% way we lose. Tune the narrative, draw Solitude. Okay. I think we lose anyway, but we're going to pass and see what they do. If they go Bowmaster, attack, and I want them to feel a little disincentivized from doing that, because if I have a removal spell, then that play is not as good. But if they attack us, we do just die. I may have spoken too soon when I said 10% to lose. Probably closer to like 30%, because finding 2 Bowmasters there was very good. Okay, they found the line. We lose, but that means we get a game 3. That was a very good. Well, I want to say that was a really good sequence from our opponent, but at the end of the day, they did just draw 2 Bowmasters. But our opponent's not number 70 by accident, that's for sure. Their play is pretty tight. All right, but I get the play, and our hand is pretty good. We've got removal, and Subtlety. Keep. We are going to lead on Thundering Falls. We're on the play, so we're not worried about Counterspell being active, and then we'll pass. Then we can Galvanic Discharge whatever their first creature is, and then, Phlage the second one. And that is a Swords to Plowshares, which is just so good. Here's a Flooded Strand, pass to you. Combat, what if? No. Can I have 2 energy instead? Pay 1. Bye, Ocelot Pride. Do you have an Ajani? They do. Hi, Ajani. We're just going to Surveil and Phlage the Ajani out of play. It's a pretty simple sequence there. I think we're supposed to get Meticulous Archive on this one. Subtlety number 2, not quite what we're in the market for. Lórien Revealed isn't either, but that's fine. Phlage, trigger, take out Ajani, go to 22. You are up, opponent. They attack for 2, bring us back down to 20. And I can just Phlage them next turn. So, okay, they Amp Raptor, that's fine. Looks like they get a second Amp Raptor. Sure. This one won't cascade because you have to cast it from your hand to get that trigger. They will get 2 energy, though. All right, my turn. All I need is a red source, and I want to maintain my life total, so I can go get a mountain, which is actually why there's a mountain in this deck, because our life total is pretty important. All right, Phlage you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get Subtlety out of our graveyard so they can't reanimate it. Also pretty good. We're, funnily enough, just going to take out the cat, so they can't, do any Ajani tricks to us next turn. And then we're just going to have a Phlage, and they can figure it out. They fetch probably for, Elegant Parlor or Shadowy Backstreet. Makes sense. Bin a card, sure. Your bin size is 4. We're not sweating that yet. If they attack, we're actually just not going to block. Looks like they have a Swords, which is great, because we'll just go to 28 and have infinite time. All right, combat. Attack us for 4. You got it. I'm probably never going to cycle this Lórien Revealed until we draw the One Ring. I might actually cast it here. Go back up to 7 in hand. I think that actually makes a good amount of sense. We're going to grab a basic island, and we're just going to take this moment to draw 3 cards while Bowmaster isn't even a thing we have to worry about. There is a Wrath of the Skies. That is very good. So if they go Kitty Cat here, that is a cat, right? That's so cool that they get to play Lurrus, because if Lurrus dies and a Johnny sees it, that's pretty sweet. It is any cat, right? Whenever one or more other cats you control die, that's sweet. That's a nice little combo. But that Swords to Plowshares is keeping us above water pretty easily. This Teferi is probably going to proc a Bowmaster, which I think I'm prepared for. Disruptor Flute? Sure. I just don't think Disruptor Flute's very good in this matchup. People are bringing it in, but I think most decks like mine play 4 copies of Wrath of the Skies, which is just not very good. Okay, Teferi comes into play. I still get the Teferi, meaning you're stuck at sorcery speed. Okay, I want a Steam Vents, I think. And if I want a Steam Vents, that means I tap for blue here, Island Cycle, grab Steam Vents, shock it into play, and pass. This lets me just protect my Teferi, which is pretty sweet. They don't even go for the Teferi, which is even better, to be honest. I think I'll just take 4, and they're passing. Okay, I'll take my turn. All right, now I have all of my mana. Let's go ahead and... I think I actually want to get that Disruptor Flute out of play now, so here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to cast Galvanic Discharge. You know what? That's stupid. We're going to cast Wrath of the Skies where X equals 2. I think that's actually just better. All right, 1, 2. Blow up your Disruptor Flute and your Amp Raptors. Then we're going to take this Teferi up and pass. Static Prison is fine. All right, Teferi's gone. Amp Raptor is fine. Trigger is fine. Get a Ragavan is fine. All these things are tight with me, dude. Do you have a Thoughtseize? That would be how you win here, I think. I don't even know if they play Thoughtseize. By this point, I'm just going to assume they don't. All right, Wrath of the Skies. Pay 0, confirm 0, auto pay. Pay 2. Blow up everything, including your Static Prison. Take the Teferi out to protect it from Bowmaster. Play Soul Guide Lantern. And then exile anything. How about this? Ragavan. Okay, now Lurrus is pretty much dead as well. So now our only goal is to draw the One Ring. Kitty Cat, in response, I will sacrifice Soul Guide Lantern. You have a cat. Ocelot Pride is also fine. Fetch. In response, I suppose I will deal with both things. I'm going to... Well, I can't deal with both things, actually. So we'll let that resolve, because I got to get picky, because I only have 2 white sources. That's why I don't have the white here. And then they're going to cast Guide of Souls. So we will Galvanic Discharge Ocelot Pride to stop them from going wide here. I think is going to be pretty important. And then you may have a Guide of Souls. Or I guess it doesn't matter. That doesn't gain in the life. But I drew a third Wrath of this guy's even, so it doesn't really matter. All right, tick up Teferi. Do I just wipe the board now? Probably. I'm supposed to do that. I don't know. It's actually kind of tough. If I wipe the board now, I shields down for white, which makes Ragavan a little bit funky. So we're actually going to pass the turn. If they want to like cast Ocelot Pride out of their bin, we're pretty okay with that. Land, cast Ocelot Pride is fine. Gain a life off Guide of Souls. Put a stop in your second main so you don't make dudes. All right, here is Wrath of the Cancel. Actually, I'll let them float something if they want. All right, they floated something. Now I'll Wrath. I'll pay... I'm not going to be able to cast anything from my hand because I don't have more than 2 white sources. So we'll actually just dump all of our mana into Wrath. We'll do it for 4. Okay, then we'll pay 1, 2, 3. Wipe your board. Now the only card we're severely worried about is Reanimate, which doesn't look like they had. So go to our turn, draw Elegant Parlor, check the top card. It's Galvanic Discharge, it's cool, but it's not what we want. We're actually going to start just drawing cards with Teferi now, because we want to wrap the game up, and the best way to do it is just to draw the One Ring. There's another Teferi, we'll pass. We have Subtlety up, so they're never going to resolve like a meaningful creature. I'll probably let them resolve any creature that doesn't do anything when it enters, and I'll just Swords it out of play. And if they cast anything that means anything, I'll Subtlety that. They scryed to the top at their Surveil land, so there's an Orcish Bowmasters. Why don't you not do that? That does have an ETB, it makes 2 bodies, so... We'll just let them draw it again. Okay. Pass to me. Me. All right, draw tune the narrative. Play tune the narrative. See if we can draw a ring. No, but a third sword is fine. Take up the Teferi. Start clocking our opponent. We're even on life total now. What do you think about that? They draw Orcish Bowmasters. They have to play it at sorcery speed because of my Teferi. They probably point the damage at the Teferi to stop me from minusing while maintaining Teferi, which we really just don't care about. They pass. We're going to Swords the Bowmasters. We're actually not in a rush, so we're just going to untap, take the Teferi up, and pass the turn so they can't attack our Teferi with the Bow Boy, and then we'll bounce it. Now they're going to Swords, which is fine. So we'll let them declare attacks at Teferi with Bow Boy. And then we will Swords it. No, you know what? No, we're pretty far ahead. Let's just let Teferi go to 3. I'll let them do this for a while. All right, my turn. Draw a card. It's Counterspell. Take up Teferi. Pass turn. Guide of Souls is fine. Combat. Attack Teferi, I assume. Beep, beep. All right, you want to float it? Oh. Swords it. See ya. All right. Pass to me. Me. Planes, let's minus the Teferi on the Guide of Souls. Just keep them out of play. And pass. At some point, we will draw the One Ring. It's gonna happen. Alright, Guide of Souls, sure. Pass to me. Great. Hallowed Fountain, tick up Teferi, play Flooded Strand, pass turn. Another land, they probably get busy at Teferi. I think I will just Swords to Plowshares the Guide of Souls. You know what? No, I won't. I'm gonna let this Teferi go to 1. That actually, like, doesn't do anything. Then we'll just fetch. I think we have a... No, all of our Surveil lands are gone, so we'll just grab Raugrin Triome. Or Steam Vents, in this case. Because I think our Raugrin Triome got surveilled to the bin. Draw Scalding Tarn, play Scalding Tarn, take Teferi up, pass turn. Bay fetch. How many Phlage are left in our deck? 2. Sweet. Yeah, at some point we're going to start drawing Solitudes or Phlages, and the game should just end. Ragavan? Sure. I'll Swords that for sure. Swords the Rags. Bring Teferi to 1. Alright, let's get, I think, the last fetchable out of our deck. Yep. So now our deck's just full of fetch lands. Alright, there's a Phlage. So let's go up with Teferi. Play Phlage. Shoot their face, honestly. I don't care about their Guide of Souls anymore. Phlage goes to the bin, and then I could protect the Phlage by just not casting it here, but I've got the Counterspell to back it up, so I think I'm just going to cast it. Phlage again, exile 1. Do I have any creatures? No. 2, 3, 4, 5. Phlage, trigger. I think I'm supposed to hit... You know, a play I can make here that would be pretty good would be hit the Guide of Souls, and then pass. Just on the off chance that they have like Swords to Plowshares or something, and then I counterspell it, then they have like another way to remove the Phlage. That would be pretty bad for me. Static Prison I don't care about, I don't think, because I can just bounce up a Teferi, Phlage them, and then escape the Phlage again, so who cares. They're going to hit Teferi with Static Prison, that's kind of weird. Alright, Amp Raptor. I think we don't care about that, right? Yeah, I think we don't care about that. If they hit anything too detrimental, we can just counter that. Johnny. I'm good on a Johnny. You're not flipping a Johnny today. And then they do have the Swords, but that's fine because we've got these Teferis. Alright, draw, Solitude. Okay, Teferi. Take up Teferi, kill you with Solitude. Great. Go. This last game's been very grindy. Big part of that's because I've been through 40 cards in my deck, and not one of them has been a copy of the One Ring. Oh, I'll keep the old one. Pass to attackers, attack my Teferi. I actually don't care, that's fine. I'm going to make sure you don't follow up with something more potent, and you do, it's Orcish Bowmasters. If I had Solituded the Amp Raptor there and they resolved Bowmasters, it would be harder to deal with the Bowmaster, but now I can just cast the Solitude. Comes into play, eat the Bowboy. My turn, draw the One Ring, finally. Tick up, go to combat, attack for 3. Here's the One Ring. We will draw and card. Play a land, pass. I don't care if they kill this Teferi anymore because we'll just play another one. And I want to keep attacking them with my Solitude, so. Alright, Teferi takes 3. Beep. Boop. Ooh, they find their own copy of the Monumental Henge. That's pretty good. Alright, they miss though, so that's fine. Alright, we take 1 off the One Ring, draw a card, draw 2 cards off the One Ring. There's a Phlage. Go to combat, attack for 3. Play Phlage. Trigger, hit you for 3. Escape the Phlage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Comes in. Done. Hit you. Play Teferi. Bounce the Phlage so they aren't able to remove it. And then play Soul Guide Lantern and pass. Good luck, opponent. I'll remove, who cares, Static Prison. Oh, I guess I'll play this land too. All right, go. Activate the Henge, sure. Ajani, sure. Resolves. I'm not sure how any of this kills me. All right, Teferi's dead. All right, my turn. Brawl, play Phlage. Kill you. GG. All right, that one was grindy, but we got it. That matchup's just generally very good for us. All right, what does that put us at? We end at number 723. Okay, we're going to be doing some more of this deck as well. One thing I was thinking about for this channel, we do so much diversity on the main channel over at Neon Mushroom that it's difficult for me to be on Arena all the time and build like a different deck every day, especially if I want to start doing content more regularly on this channel. So I know you guys said you're down to see like Pirates multiple times. What I'm probably going to do is like when I do a record session, I'm probably going to do a couple videos for this deck and then just kind of sporadically release them. That way you guys can see, some Jeskai Energy now, maybe some Jeskai Energy in a week or two, and I can tune the deck as I go. So I guess the point of that is expect to see some more Jeskai Energy. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.